Lay down your weary tune, lay down. Lay down the song you strum, and rest yourself 'neath the strength of strings. No voice can hope to hum, struck by the sounds before the sun. I knew the night had gone, the morning breeze like a bugle blew against the drums of dawn. Lay down your weary tune, lay down. Lay down the song you strum, and rest yourself 'neath the strength of strings. No voice can hope to hum.
Welcome to the 5th installment of Talkin Bob Dylan. The name of this podcast is The Songs of Bob Dylan, number 12 and 35. My name is Renee Safier, and I'm here with my music partner, Andy Hill. Today we're going to begin a 3-part discussion on the types of Bob Dylan songs, with each podcast focusing on one work as an example. Now, when we speak of types of songs, we're not talking about genre of music so much. Dylan writes in as many genres as anyone: folk, country, rock, blues, pop, Americana, R&B. It's one of the reasons we've produced our Dylan Fest for the last 27 years. Almost every band in any genre can find a Bob Dylan song that fits perfectly into their canon.
When we use the phrase types of song, we're referring rather to how he constructs a lyric in an unusual style compared to other writers. We'll cross over into meaning and interpretation, but how he tells a story, not so much what the story is our subject for a little while.
So a typical pop form has 2 or 3 verses, a chorus, that's the part everyone sings along to, and there's often a bridge, or what Lennon and McCartney called a middle 8. Examples in Dylan's catalog of this type of song are Just Like a Woman, I Want You, or Lay Lady Lay. Now, Lennon and McCartney write primarily in this format, but Elton John and Bernie Taupin write almost exclusively without a bridge. They just use a verse and a chorus.
For our purposes, how stories unfold within those sections are where Dylan charts his own territory. Sometimes it's straightforward, like Hurricane, the story of the wrongly imprisoned boxer Reuben Carter. But the song we'd like to start with today is one where time is suspended, chronology absent or not germane. It's called Lay Down Your Weary Tune.
This song was intended to be the final song on The Times They Are A-Changin', but it was replaced by the song Restless Farewell. Outside of the narrator, there are no characters and no action. Bob only performed the song publicly once. He played it at Carnegie Hall on October 26, 1963, just 2 nights after he recorded it. And that was it. Never to be heard live again. Now, I get it. If you're Bob Dylan, it must be a challenge to decide on any given night what 20 songs you're going to play. But one live performance of a song of this magnitude? It sort of reminds me of an artist named Andrew Goldsworthy. He's a British artist, and he creates art that is site-specific. He goes into a natural environment like a forest or a beach, and using sticks, rocks, leaves, and other natural elements, he creates a work of art, and it's meant to be temporary. Once it's finished, he'll take a photograph of it and leave it to evolve according to the dictates of the weather and the tides to decompose over time.
One of the lines in Lay Down Your Weary Tune is, "The crying rain like a trumpet sang and asked for no applause." And there's also the line, "The branches bare like a banjo moaned to the winds that listened the best." We're so used to pairing creative artwork with it being a means to a financial end. It's a platinum album, or a means for validation from the external world. It's number 1. that it's important to remind ourselves that the creative force lives on its own. Dylan plays the song and leaves it, like the artist abandons his creation to the elements.
So at this point in 1963, Bob Dylan is the world's greatest writer and singer of protest songs. With the release of the album The Times They Are A-Changin', an album defined by such songs as With God on Our Side, The Ballad of Hollis Brown, Only a Pawn in Their Game, When the Ship Comes In, The Lonesome Death of Hattie Carroll, the song that closed out that album was not a protest song. Looking back, it's the song that signaled Dylan's transition from politics and social justice to mysticism.
What do we mean by mysticism? Well, think of the song as Dylan writing a letter to himself, or as a letter from the universe to himself. The chorus goes,
Lay down your weary tune, lay down. Lay down the song you strum, and rest yourself 'neath the strength of strings. No voice can hope to hum.
Then there are 5 verses, each of which pairs images from the natural landscape with a musical sound. The morning breeze like a bugle blew. The crashing waves like cymbals clashed, etc. And what is the sound no voice can hope to hum? Well, I got a theory. It probably isn't true, but it's fun to try on and walk around in. Here's the theory. Bob Dylan has an extraordinary capacity to immerse himself in his internal world. You can see him doing this for yourself in the documentary Don't Look Back. They're on a pandemonious national tour in a hotel room somewhere. The pin-pulling troublemaker Bob Newirth is skulking around. Joan Baez is performing one of Bob's songs just a few feet away, not to mention the presence of the camera crew itself. But Dylan is at his typewriter. His leg is moving in time to a rhythm different than what Joan Baez is playing. Dylan is composing. He's living in an internal world. There's a mystical point of view that the external world is the false world and the internal world the true world. Van Morrison says, Enlightenment says the world is nothing but a dream. Everything's an illusion. Nothing is real. Later on, Dylan would write, Don't trust me to show you beauty, when beauty may only turn to rust. If you want somebody you can trust yourself. Turn inward. In Brownsville Girl, he wrote, I got no regrets. They can talk about me plenty when I'm gone. That's a rejection of the external world.
Lay Down Your Weary Tune is a description of the natural world untarnished by human interruption, forever expressing and manifesting itself. In that presence, Dylan suggests to himself as a creative artist, not that he fawn and reduce his own worth, and not with shame or embarrassment, but with humility. Rest yourself. Observe. Here in the place where true organic expression dwells.
I stood unwound beneath the skies, and clouds unbound by loss. They cry in rain like a trumpet sang, and asked for no applause. Lay down your tune, lay down. Lay down the song you strum, and rest yourself 'neath the strength of strings. No voice can hope to hum.
Well, this is Andy Hill and Renee Safier. There's a lot more to say about this song, but in the meantime, we hope you've enjoyed this podcast. Come and see us perform live every Friday night at Portugal in San Pedro. And tune in next week for a long overdue discussion of Black Diamond Bay. Check out Andy and I at www.andyandrenee.com.